right now, all the news is pointed to one man, and that is the Essendon captain, Zach Merrett. And is it better for both parties if they look for Zach Merrett leaving?
If he wants to stay, of course you want him to stay.
What if he's looking around, though? But his head was turned by St Kilda last year. Imagine if a Hawthorn or a Geelong came knocking.
Yeah, it'd be turned harder if a big football club came to him with a serious offer, which I actually do feel could happen.
Yeah, I don't live under a rock. I'm certainly aware of that. You got to laugh a little bit. I think July's maybe a bit boring for journos this time of year to start speculating on things. I'm all in. I'm contracted for 2 more years. I'm the captain of the footy club. I've got so much trust in Brad. The strategy is a bit longer than I probably would hopefully have liked when I signed 4 years ago.
Their captain's name, Zach Merrett, it simply won't disappear from trade talk. Why is that?
It's because there's a high degree of disillusionment inside Zach Merrett.
He's frustrated at the lack of success that might be coming in the future.
The disillusionment is high.
This is getting quite insidious now. Like, this has been years of this.
There's no way Essendon can let him go. Essendon's ground should be, there's no way you're leaving Zach.
It's getting to the point, Jimmy, where I reckon it's becoming both unfair on Zach and unfair on the club if he's always considering leaving. I think they have to either come out and say he's staying for life or trade him.
Merrett and his wife were sold the brown and gold dream by Sam Mitchell, Mitchell's wife, and Hawks footy boss Rob McCartney at a private house last night. The Bombers were blindsided by Merrett and Mitchell's catch-up.
Now, this is the second club captain Sam Mitchell's met with in 1 year. The difference is our club captain is contracted for another 2 years. He's a contracted captain. Our club's position is that we will not be trading him under any circumstances.
All happening at Essendon, and their captain, Zach Merrett, is right in the thick of it. So you saw there on Footy Classified, we started talking about this, Lordo, as early as the start of July, really. And then, you know, I was standing at Sam Mitchell's press conference, Hawthorn were about to train, when Channel 9's own Tom Morris breaks the story that he's met in person with Sam Mitchell. And really, it's been chaos ever since that. He's met with Andy McGrath, who's come back, the vice-captain, of course, has come back from overseas. There now seems to be an acceptance at the Essendon Football Club that whatever happens, and they're still hopeful that he can play on next year, he won't be captain. So they're on the lookout for a new captain. And it would appear from the outside, Lordo, that it's going to be near impossible for him to walk back into that club.
Yeah, well, they have to now pony up, don't they, the Hawthorn Football Club, and satisfy the Bombers over the next... That's the position the Bombers are in. When you've got a 2-year contract and things like that, they have to satisfy. So I'm going to go through shortly what they potentially could ask for to get to be satisfied. But, yeah, there's been no winners out of this. Zach would be feeling flat, exhausted. The club's disappointed. There's been barbs going back and forth. So it hasn't been nice at all.
There's also a strategy put in place by the Essendon Footy Club in response to the meeting being made public last week. We saw in a matter of days the coach, the CEO and the president all speak on broadcast media. The president on his own platforms at Essendon Footy Club. Mason Redmond speaks to Cal Toomey. You can see the word disappointed there. Nick Martin speaks to The Age, Pete Ryan and Mark McGowan. And again, you can see the words there. Disappointed is there again. It's contextual. There's positive words amongst these conversations. And then Andrew McGrath spoke yesterday to Channel 7 as part of all of this wider policy and I suppose, strategy that the Essendon Footy Club have now got in place to counter what they feel was Zach Merrett more than comfortable having this story now played out publicly.
So, Damien, you've been in the industry a long time. How do you think this plays out? So, would you believe that the club media department or whoever would go to these players and say, be willing to give quotes to the media because we need this from our side of...
Players were more than comfortable to make the comments. Yeah. So I'd imagine, Lordo, that the actual placements in those various outlets was coordinated by the club itself. But, I mean, make no mistake, the players themselves did want to initially make the comments.
It makes it even more difficult when there's only one potential club involved, already being contracted for another 2 years and captain, as we heard in all the play on. But if it was open, you're open to leave, and Essendon were able to seek the best trade available, well, then it would create an even better situation for the Bombers and actually force Hawthorn's hand if they wanted him. But the fact that he's only picked one club, it doesn't allow Essendon much room to wriggle. But they can still keep him, of course, and as you mentioned, Lloydie, Hawthorn will need to pony up.
Before I look at that, it's irreparable in my eyes. What do you think?
It can't be the captain because you've come on and you said you're all in. You meet the coach, as we heard from Brad Scott. and then the following night you're meeting with the opposition coach. So it's incredibly difficult. I just want to know what they're going to do around the best and fairest. I don't think there's a perfect situation. If he could have held that meeting with Sam Mitchell till after the best and fairest, we wouldn't have this awkward situation.
What can they do, Jimmy? Because he's also expected by the AFL, and I spoke to the AFL tonight, to attend the Brownlow Medal on Monday and sit next to some of these teammates potentially who have been critical of him. So it feels like, Jimmy, the Merrett camp are going to have to get a game plan here. Yeah,
I think both camps would think they've got pretty strong hands. Of course, Essendon will play, well, he's 2 years and captain. We already have him. But Hawthorn could also be, well, you're the one Essendon's going to have to absorb this situation if he goes back.
But what about the Merrett camp? Like, do you think, let's say you go to the Brownlow, you're going to get stopped by Journo, right?
Yeah, but surely his manager's made him aware of that.
But what's his answer?
Well, yeah, I'm going to explore all my options. Just you might as well be open. He's pretty much open to it now.
I was with Kevin Sheedy today and I caught up with him about something else, and it was back in the day when it was Paul Salmon was massive. Paul Salmon said, I need to go and get a new home. And Sheeds is the type to go, OK, a third club got involved as well, and Sheeds says, OK, I want to get Sean Wellman, who became an All-Australian centre-half back, and he said, I'll take Paul Barnett as well. I know. So I'm looking at now, Kevin Sheedy's mindset would be, OK, if you want him, well, what are we going to look at? So this is what I would do if I was Essendon. I'd start from the top. And I've got untouchables up there. But this is what Kevin Sheedy would be thinking. Well, Will Day, they'll go no. Josh Weddle, then I'm sure they'll go no. John Newcombe, no. And then Sicily's the captain. But then you start going, OK, who are the next available players? And I look at Lloyd Meek, for example. The Bombers don't have a ruckman. OK, well, what about Lloyd Meek and Connor McDonald, or is it Nick Watson? So that's what you've got to do. I think they've got enough draft picks that are going to come via finishing as low as they did, via Sam Draper, via whether Jordan Ridley leaves, that you go, we'll take some of your best at Hawthorn, and they can only say no, and then you can always keep your player in Zach Merrett. So I don't mind the position the Bombers are in here.
It becomes a game of football chicken, really, and who's going to blink first, because so I totally understand. Like, Essendon should be saying to contract your captain, like, we want overs for him. But Hawthorn are sitting there, and look, the cynic in me says Hawthorn and Zach Merrett are in constant contact throughout all of this, right? That's just the cynical journo.
And they need to be to support Zach.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. But Hawthorn are sitting there thinking they've got a little bit more of the whip hand than others think, because they're saying, OK, well, we'll offer you something reasonable. We'll offer you pick 9 this year and first round next year. But if not, you keep him, guys. You keep him and you let him walk back into that club. For me, it feels like a win-win for Essendon. We either get your best player or we stuff up your culture. And this goes to the brutality of Hawthorn off the field, which we have seen under Sam Mitchell on the field.
And this is where his manager, Tom Petrora, has a massive job, doesn't he, to try and get Hawthorn to come to the deal and say, don't take my player all this way, and emotionally get him involved and have him have to go back. So that's where they play a part in getting them to...
And look, I honestly feel that Zach Merrett's working away from Tom Petraro in aspects of this. Not completely, but in aspects of it. And I say that because he's heard this messaging before from Essendon, hasn't he? I mean, he heard it back in 2022 when David Barham, who had already been on the board for 7 years as a director of the Bombers, came out and within days sacked Ben Rutten, rolled Paul Brasher as chair, forced the exit of Xavier Campbell, and then made these comments publicly about committing to change.
I don't think there's any doubt I'm an agent for some sort of change. You know, I think that's pretty clear. But and I do that on behalf of everyone. I'm doing that on behalf of the fans, the members, our supporters and our players. So I think we're now in a position where financially we're really strong. Everything's in great shape, and we need to start pouring more and more of our energy and resources and money into footy.
So that's August 2022, and the changes have come, but ultimately nothing has changed by way of making the captain of the football club any more confident that they are on the right track. Now, that period in question there, August 2022, was a period when they thought they were at least away from the drug saga, and they worked really hard to get out of that. But ultimately, right now, 3 years on from David Barham making those comments about being an agent, or sort of agent for change, in Zach Merrett's eyes, nothing has changed, and that's why he's going solo in some parts of this pursuit to get out.
That is true, and that's why I think there's fault on both parts. There's no doubt when I look at it that people within the club would think that Zach has not handled himself very well at all in this.
Should he be doing paid-for speaking gigs at this time of the year? Because we've all seen the ones that have been advertised. I mean, now this may seem harsh, right? I'm happy to cop this. So 4 of the great Essendon people, right? And it's called The Captain. So it's Thursday, so it's Thursday week. You can go to Doncaster
Grand final
Town,
week.
and it's a grand final week. Now, I don't begrudge anyone trying to make a little bit on the side. That's fine. But given what he's going through right now, given that basically his relationship with the club has completely disintegrated in the space of a week, he surely cannot turn up to that.
Well, I'd attend one as an individual on a panel, but that is all Essendon. I've been to those functions, and it's just passionate red and black people. So that's not one I would attend.
And he did one in Yarrawonga last Friday as well that we know of. So
Why were you not up on that?
What's that? Because I'm here with Channel 9 doing that.
We are a team.
Yeah.
We are a team here at Channel 9.